Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is James with GN Invasion,
And this is Charles.
and we're going to be covering today Captain America, Hail Hydra, and how his character is actually affecting the MCU and what it might actually mean.
Right. So right now in Marvel Comics, the biggest thing going on is the Secret Empire, which, like we touched on just now, Captain America has been a Hydra agent all along. Of course, like going into the story, it's not the whole case. From the events of Pleasant Hill, with the Cosmic Cube fragments, it seems that the entity that came out of fragments has that once they generated Steve Rogers back to his super soldier form,
Yep.
that they altered his history, where in his reality he's always been a Hydra agent, and his main mission was to secretly infiltrate the Allied forces, who apparently won because of the use of the Cosmic Cube. It was his destiny to change everything back to the way it's supposed to be, where Hydra wins.
So, how about we talk about one out of the two origins, because technically they give you two and they kind of mix it up. So, the first origin that they actually give you is that the Red Skull actually takes the Cosmic Cube and actually alters Steve Rogers' timeline to where he was always a part of Hydra and he was actually being trained and bred by Hydra.
Yeah, with that first part, when the Cosmic Cube became sentient, what happened, it was like a child, and because of the prior relationship the Cube had with Red Skull, it found him and went back to him like a daughter to her father. And him telling the Cube these stories of the greatness of Hydra, how things were supposed to be, it was his way of manipulating the Cube into doing his bidding, just as he's always done with the Cube, but now in a person type form. So his plan, whisper into the Cube's ear and have her write history in a sense, where Hydra's greatest enemy becomes its greatest asset and ally.
Yeah, and the funny thing is they show as Steve Rogers was actually progressing through Hydra, being trained as being an assassin and everything else. One of the biggest things that they actually talked about was who can we have to actually infiltrate America and become, like this symbol. And they actually used Steve Rogers, who ended up becoming Captain America, and you end up finding out that Hydra actually, just like the name suggests, actually branches off into a lot of different branches. But one of the biggest ones was Shield.
And going along with that, there was the Red Skull branch, which is the most popular form of Hydra that everyone knows of. But there's also, Madam Hydra?
Yep.
There's her sector. There's Kraken, his as well. The history behind Hydra is much deeper, and going off of that, it seems that Steve Rogers formed his own head of Hydra as well, where Red Skull looked to just use him as a tool. Steve looked to restore Hydra to the way it truly is supposed to be. And that being said, he looks at Skull as being the negative version of what Hydra is, the one that's always failing, the one that's always in the spotlight and everything, the one the world fears and hates. And Steve is like, that's not how it's supposed to be. So he sets up a coup of his own plan of sorts, was a plan which started when he kept Dr. Selvig alive after behest of Red Skull, who wanted him dead because he had his own plans going on to take over the Middle Eastern, like the so-called Russian area of the Marvel Universe. but Rogers kept him along, and he slowly started to build his army. He kept Zemo, Baron Zemo as well.
Who was always his best friend, actually, since they were going to the Hydra school together.
Yeah, that was interesting as well, because it brought up questions of whether the Cosmic Cube, did it just change Steve, or did it change multiple people's reality?
Multi-universe.
So a lot of questions came out of that. So now I feel that, honestly, in my opinion, I feel it was just Steve's reality that was changed. It looks, this is what it looks like the way they're going. It looks like his reality was changed, and Baron Zemo is just going along with it. Steve had him a prisoner in his little underground base where he kept things from Red Skull, who at the time had the brain of Charles Xavier, the most powerful telepathic mutant on the planet. So he really had to be secretive about certain things, but he kept Baron Zemo and kept telling him stories of their childhood and their past.
Yep.
And we don't know if Zemo just if he just forgot these memories or if he never had them at all. Steve is implying that the Cosmic Cube wiped out everyone's memories and that only Steve knows the truth. But maybe it's just Steve who's the one being
True.
played.
But since we did say that this was part of the Secret Empire, let's actually get on the big feat that Steve Rogers did. And the biggest thing that he did was he was actually exacting a plan to actually take all the most powerful mutants that were around that had cosmic powers or even that were just strong, and to exile them from Earth. So why don't you explain that?
Well, it's a multi-point plan that he executed to the utmost accuracy. Phase 1, he took all the super level humans, super level power heroes, Guardians of the Galaxy, the Ultimates, led by Captain Marvel.
And they all just went to deep space.
Deep space, because the way he did it, he secretly hid a Chitauri queen on Earth, and this queen, he had it send out signals to these massive hordes of Chitauri that are just have no thought of their own, just to follow this signal sent from the queen and just attack. So without them even controlling it, they're millions of them, just waves of them keep coming at Earth.
Yeah. And what ends up happening is that, of course, the strongest heroes, Thor, Miss Marvel, all of them, they're going out to fight them. At the same time, you have the American government, who was afraid of what's going on, go into hiding underground, and they did the biggest thing ever, which is they gave Steve Rogers all power.
Yeah.
So he was the most powerful man in the world.
So yeah, let's just run down the exact list of things that Steve Rogers did. He killed Red Skull at the help of his Unity squad, where they got Xavier's brain out of his head.
Mm-hmm.
Once he was able to do that, just offed him. He became the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. after pretending that he didn't want it, after getting, secretly pushing Maria Hill out. And also getting Sharon Carter
to give it up. Because she was actually going to be the head of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, and he knew, he played her like he played everyone else, and he knew exactly what she would do, and she did it. She pushed him to be the director of S.H.I.E.L.D.
All right, so number 3 was the shield that Captain America set up.
Yes, that's how he locked out all these superpower heroes.
Yeah.
He made it as if it wasn't his idea, Maria's and Captain Marvel's, and made it as if he hated the idea. And of course, that is when you use reverse psychology on kids.
Yep.
So they did what he knew what they would do. Go around his back, make the shield anyway, and it came up just in time for them to get locked out of space. Yep. And the final thing, the dark universe that he had, the dark hole of which he has over in New York, which is currently holding like most of the other superhero population.
Yep.
As they were busy with his Hydra army put together by Baron Zemo, they all start coming at once, a major attack on New York City. So of course you send in Avengers, you send in Unity Squad, you send in who you can, when you can, and as soon as they were there, lock them in.
Yep, and that's how you get Captain America Hail Hydra. But if you want the detailed read on it, just start reading Secret Empire #0. That is the prequel to it. And then it just goes on from there.
Yeah.
But this is our overview of it. Like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you leave a comment down below. If there's anything that you're reading right now in comic books, let us know. We'll try to read it and give you a full detailed review on what we like.
And if you would like to know more about what's going on with the Secret Empire, just leave comments below. I'm Charles from G Invasion.
This is James Hines.
And we'll see you later.
Peace.